pricing.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, yes.
And then the second one was filled in.
I was like, what are we doing about? Yes.
The actual one that we were. A little bit.
I don't think I changed anything on the public hearing. I bet it's,
Doug, are you ready? And this
We're good, and nobody online.
Okay. Hopefully Doug will be on soon.
Okay.
We got 6:30, so I want to officially call this July 17th meeting of the Mount Vernon City Council to order. And the first item on the agenda is any changes to the agenda, other than, I guess, the amended fiscal report you sent out this afternoon.
I would move approval of the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Move to second to approve the agenda as sent out. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I want to begin with welcoming visitors and guests to this meeting. And we're at the communications section of the meeting. And if you wish to address the city council on subjects pertaining to today's meeting agenda, please wait until that item on the agenda is reached. And hopefully you grabbed an agenda when you came in on the back chairs. If you wish to address the city council on an item not on the agenda, please approach the microphone and give your name and address for the public record before discussing your item. And each individual will be granted 5 minutes. And we're now at the public comment section of the meeting, so if anybody wants to speak, now is the time to do it. Last call, anybody want to speak? Public comment section? Okay. If not, we will move on to the consent agenda. We have 3 items on the consent agenda, and are we ready to move forward with that?
I would move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Great, Paul, is there a
I'll
second?
second that.
Thank you, Craig. Move and second to approve the 3 items on the consent agenda. Liquor, cigarette, and minutes. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You know what I meant.
Sounds like a solid Saturday night, is all I'm saying.
Have their light, liquor, cigarettes. But now it's time to get serious about a public hearing. I'll officially open the public hearing to adopt plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of costs for the Davis Park Improvements Concession Building Project. And we received some information, new information about that this afternoon. So I want to officially open the public meeting and then move on to G1. Corey, do you have anything to add to that, or do people have questions about?
Not really, but really E1 and G1 and G2, or excuse me, E2 and G2. Not much has changed since our meeting in February. Basically, it was bid as, the project was bid together. So they separated it out because we only got one bid on that last bid opening. So they separated them. So we got actually 3 bids for each. We can talk about that in just a little bit, but no, it's really, nothing has changed as far as the plans and specs go. So as far as E1 and E2, and then moving on to G1 and G2, those kind of coincide, so.
Is anyone here in the public wishing to speak towards E1, the public hearing about estimate for cost for the Davis Park Improvement Concession Building? Hearing no comments about the public hearing, I will officially close the public hearing and then move to G1, which is the resolution to adopt plans, specs, formal contract, and estimate of costs for the Davis Park Improvement Concession Stand project.
And I really don't have anything to add, other than really nothing has changed since our last meeting. When we get to the
That was last Thursday, right?
Correct. Yeah, bid opening was Thursday.
Then I would move to approve Resolution 7-17-2023A, adopting the plans.
Thank you, Craig. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Craig and Scott, moved and seconded to adopt the first resolution, 7/17/2023A. And if there are no questions about that, let us move to a roll call vote on that. If you are ready, Marcia.
Turler,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
That resolution passes. Moving to public hearing, officially open it for the second part of the Davis Park contract here. Improvements to ball field lighting project. This is one that we decided to pull out, get more attractive pricing, and it was something that could be easily split
Yes.
up, so.
Yep.
Was that 3 bids again?
Yep, rebid, same thing. The plans really haven't changed, they just broke them out into 2 projects, hoping to attract more bidders, which it did.
All right, I will move to approve resolution 7-17.
Oh, we're in public
Yeah.
hearing.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
second ahead.
I'm sorry.
We'll make a final call. Does anybody have any public comment with regard to
Thank you, Paul.
second public hearing here about the lighting on Davis Park Field? Anything from Parks and Rec? Okay. Now we'll officially close the public meeting, public hearing on that project. Steph, do you want to move forward?
I sure will. I'd like to move to approve resolution 7-17-2023B for the plans for the Davis Park improvements for the ball field project.
Thank you, Steph. Is there a second?
A second.
Craig. For the second resolution, now we're on to G2. The public hearings are closed, so we're ready to vote on 7/17/2023B, adopting plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of costs for the Davis Park Improvements Ball Field Project. We're going to call the roll, Marcia?
Engel,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Turler,
Yes.
That motion carries. Next is construction bid for the concession stand improvements.
So we got bids back, and the concession building is about 80,000 under where it was in February when we looked at it. It's still at $250,000, which is pretty high. So staff would recommend rejecting this and bringing it back to the table and looking at other concepts.
So the amount of the bid at 416 is what staff is recommending we reject?
Correct. Yes,
Got better, but not good enough, huh?
correct. And the specs for this project are not bad, it's just the bid came in too high for the concession building.
So we had talked about using a prefab building.
Correct, the Ron Tech building, yep.
Did this change in that spec?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, but that building is just still too high.
and thank you.
Yeah,
I just wanted to
correct,
validate that.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
yeah.
So is the thought that due to materials costs that it
Correct.
might come down again?
Well, and maybe, the city staff can actually pick that up versus us going the route that they're trying to go with the Ron Tech building, so. Sorry, Ellen. I knew he was gonna look at me.
Are there any, I assume, and not to jump ahead, but
Yep.
since we split them apart, is staff recommending we approve the lighting project?
That's next.
Right.
Yep.
But I guess
Yes.
my real question is, then, is there any domino effect? Is there anything in here,
Sure.
in this building, in the facilities that we're talking about here, that affect the lighting?
No,
That's gonna
it is
screw-
separate, as I
It's
understand
both
it.
even
It
the-
is separate,
okay.
so no, jumping to the next one once you get through
Okay.
this one.
It's not like there's some
They are
electrical
recommending
panels in there.
overlaying that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
No, good question.
Building's not getting any newer or looking any better, it's an eyesore. Do they use it for anything?
Yeah.
Really, I mean, other than storage? Storage?
A little bit of storage.
Do the bathrooms still work?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's its main value at this point.
borderline, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's been sketchy since I was on Parks and Rec 8, 10 years ago,
Yes,
so.
when we were.
We've been
Yes,
working
long
on it
time
since
ago.
then, so.
Yeah.
Kills me to not say yes to this.
We'll get there.
So basically in G3, staff recommendation is to hold off at this time.
Correct. And we'll bring something back to you at a future date here.
Probably next year.
I'm thinking so, yeah.
We'll get through this season then.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's the resolution on G3. G4.
Well, we,
Do we have to take a vote to reject?
I think since
You
it's
do,
there.
you have to
yeah.
do a
Okay.
roll call, yes,
I- I
yes.
For the recommendation from staff.
I would move rejecting the bid for the construction of the concession stand improvements for the Davis Park project.
Paul, is there a second?
Sure, I'll second that.
Thank you, Paul and Craig. For the recommendation from staff, I think we're ready to vote, Marcia.
Engel,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Turler,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Motion carries.
Yes, Deb.
Debbie, you on? Hi, Deb.
Sorry, I was having trouble getting on, sorry.
Can you hear us? See us?
Yes.
Engage when you can. I
Can you
guess.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Okay, yes.
With G4, resolution on award of construction bid for the ball field lighting improvements for Davis Park project.
So yeah, staff would recommend approval of awarding the bid to Ardent Lighting Group of the ball field lighting for Davis Park. That bid came in at $165,650. And they'd like to move forward with that.
And it was below the engineers.
Yes.
Estimates of 180.
Yep, yes.
And it's a critical upgrade that's required from a
Yes,
safety
Oh,
perspective.
absolutely.
yes. Long approving.
So I would move approval of the recommendation of staff to accept the bid from Ardent Lighting Group LLC under Resolution 7-17-2023D.
Thank you, Paul, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Scott. Question, have we used Ardent before? I'm not familiar with them.
I do not know the answer to that question, probably not.
I don't, that doesn't sound bad, but
To be fair, we haven't done a ton of lighting projects. either.
Right.
this,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Or go to school?
I actually,
True, that's, yeah, I mean, that would have been the more.
And the bids were fairly close.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you always
That-
worry when somebody's
Yeah.
80,000 below.
Okay, we've a motion on the floor to move forward and approve 7/17/2023D. And if there are no further questions or clarifications, if you're ready to call, we'll
Rose,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Turler,
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Thank you, Deb. That resolution moves forward. And then approving fiscal year 2023-2024 transfers.
Yeah, so this is our first transferring of funds for fiscal year 2023-2024. The resolution includes standard transfers to debt service and depreciation funds, and 2 transfers to Fund 315, which covers the deficit in that fund for the public works buildings.
If there aren't any questions, then I would move to approve Resolution 7-17-2023E, approving the fiscal year 2023-24 transfer.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to move forward with the fiscal year 2023-2024 transfers as presented by staff. If there are no further questions, it's too early to question anything, basically, isn't it?
Yeah,
Uh,
I think.
Unless there was a non-incremental change of some kind, yeah.
Not that I'm aware of.
Marcia, open the call vote.
Turler,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
That resolution passes. This is through the resolution section. Moving to motions for approval. Got a claims list. Any questions of staff on the most recently presented claims list?
If there are no questions, I'll move to approve the claims list.
I'll second.
Stephanie and Scott. The motion on the floor to approve the claims list. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item for a motion for approval is consideration of application number 7, police department operations. Anything to add here, chief? So moving forward,
No, just a
Keeps on giving.
standard pay app, progress, they're continuing to work. I got a crew in there doing framing and everything. It's framed out, and so I encourage council, if you get an opportunity, to get a hold of me. I'll be thin this week, but hopefully back in the office either late week or next week, and definitely come out and see what's going on. They're gonna begin working on the outside portion here probably in the next week as well.
outside meaning north.
Correct, the north end,
Entry.
getting all the underground stuff and then paving.
Okay, pay applications for $99,065.39.
Yeah, unless there's further questions or concerns, I would move approval of pay application 7 for the police station in the amount of $99,065.39.
I'll second.
Thank you, Scott and Deb. So no further questions for chief or staff. Let's move forward with this. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. J3 is discussion and consideration of sculpture trail art pieces by Melbourne Area Arts Council. Council action was needed. You have a presentation coming up here? Thank you.
If you could push the button on the mic and it'll turn green.
Name and address.
Bob Cantana, 835 15th Avenue Southwest, Mount Vernon.
Marie DeVries, 213 10th Avenue Southwest, Mount Vernon.
We speak to you, I'm Chair of the Parks and Rec Commission, and Marie is President of the Mount Vernon Area Arts Council. And we have come to a good spot since last appearing before you several months ago. At that time, the council approved a $10,000 allocation towards the creation of the sculpture trail. Since then, the Arts Council has added $5,000 and 2 private donors have added another $1,000 for a total of $16,000 towards the sculpture trail. The process unfolded in is first time testing the waters, but we got through this. We put out a request for qualifications, had 3 respondents by the 1st of May, so we extended the deadline until June and ended up with 13 respondents from around the United States. The committee of 6 of us who are hopefully knowledgeable in sculpture and everything, the committee includes Marie and myself, Matt Siders, Katrina Garner, Danielle Shargo, and Steve Marovitz. Those latter 2 are from the Arts Council, and Katrina is an independent person, but she was formerly on the Arts Council years ago. So the bottom line was this, is we responded to the community survey that was put out. We had just short of 200 respondents, I believe. Has the council seen that survey? Okay. So we've trying to establish some thoughtful parameters by which we could choose sculptors, and we as a committee set forth our priorities, and it turned out that there was a good match that happened with 2 sculptors that had things ready to go. In the long run, commissioning custom art for Mount Vernon is also part of the goal, but right now, responding to the community survey and our own judgments, we found 2 sculptors, and this happened in a good way. We were playing with $16,000, which normally is a price for 1 sculpture. Gail Chauvinel of Dubuque, Iowa, had a piece for $12,000, and she offered, it is an existing piece of 3 separate sculptures of dancers, and that she negotiated down to $8,500 for the 3. Joe Norman of Loveland, Colorado, had a piece that he was started off at $14,000, and we're in negotiation for $7,500. When you add the 2 together, that's $16,000 what we raised, and the net result will be pieces ready to go. They should be here within the community within the month, if all the paperwork and approvals go as they are. And Marie and I have done some preliminary scouting along Han Creek, the trail on both sides of First Street, And we have recommendations as to how this can work. And the recommendations are the Joe Norman piece is on the north side in a little pocket adjacent to First Street. And the Gail Charbonneau 3 pieces, there's more space on the south side of Main Street so that they could be spread out, so when people walk or drive down Main Street, the net result, you'll see 4 sculptures to start with as soon as we're installed. The thing that we need to have happen because of the negotiated prices is we're looking at specs for the base, the concrete base for the sculptures. Preliminary guessing on this and is that having looked at the bases, a concrete base of approximately 3 foot by 3 foot or maybe up to 4 by 4 within that, and maybe a foot deep and reinforced would provide a secure ground level presentation opportunity for these sculptures. We would request that the city crew be of assistance to install the bases, and we'll come back with specs on that. And at this point, we will have to be in negotiation to get the bases installed and the sculptures installed. I have to say from my personal experience of having lived in the sculpture community of Lublin, I know how it's done and I've seen it done, so I can give good advice on that. And so that's kind of where we are. Marie, you have anything you want to add to that?
I just want to make sure everybody saw the photographs of the sculptures that we're proposing to purchase.
Yeah.
And so if you have any comments about that?
I like them very much. You guys did a great job of economizing the money to get the
We're
biggest
pretty
bang for our
excited,
buck.
yeah. We're pretty excited that we are actually going to get 4 pieces more for what we have raised, so, yeah.
The beauty of Joe Norman's sculpture in particular is that as you drive or walk past it, it changes shape and becomes one of 2 things. And the beauty of Gail's is it will be spread out in multicolor and placement. Will be of good advice as to how this can work. But we want to make it a tribute to the community and create something that will keep growing over the years, I hope. This is hopefully not a one and done. Okay.
Where on First Street, Bob, were you talking about? And I'll tell you why I'm asking the question now.
Okay. Where the trail crosses First Street and then Han Creek is adjacent to the trail. As you go across on the east side on First Street, there's a little inlet of mowed grass. On the north side, that's where the one piece for Joe Norman's would go. Then if you look on the south side, there's room on both sides of the trail. And this is where we would have to have some advisory placement, you know.
Thank you. No, the reason I was asking was because when you said First Street, all of a sudden my mind went away from the trail and I was thinking of our larger project that we have to do in the next couple of years, and that's a streetscape. And I thought, gee whiz, if we spend all this time and energy to plant them there,
Only to dig them up.
only dig them up in a couple of years. But I'm glad it's a non-issue, it's moot, so.
Yeah.
And it's also, these are sculptures, they're all metal, and they can be moved.
Sure.
It won't be hard to move them if we need to. So that's also an option. So that's another reason we
Great.
like these, because they're not going to be difficult to move.
One of the things that we did in the last week or so is contacted both of the sculptors. There was a safety concern. Do these have sharp edges? They don't. And the sculptors send us detailed pictures of how edges look. Yes, they're metal, yes, they're heavy, but they're not going to slice and dice, you know?
No, I mean, it clearly said, Gail said, the kids love to play around and on it, get their pictures taken with it, so
Yeah.
she's demonstrated
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we want to make sure that things are safe and good.
Alden, do you have any comments to make?
That's exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
4x4 pad.
4 of them.
And a concession
We
stand.
just want to make sure.
Well, yeah, that's what,
And the interior of 2 cold storage buildings.
yeah, my duties continue to build, so, Some 4x4 pads are not difficult for us to throw together relatively quick and pour those, so I think we're fine. I don't see any problems with that.
Hopefully Matt Siders has been in touch with you, because at Parks and Rec meeting, we have talked to him about it. He's our liaison with you. So,
He's in Cosmo right now, so.
but,
Yeah,
yeah, the thing about the pads that we have, they're pretty fundamental, but they just have to be strong enough not to be tipped over.
sure.
That's it.
Yep. Well,
And all of the sculptures will each have 4 holes in them, and just basically bolting them into the concrete is all that we ask.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
And we've got the tools to do it.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, that's all right.
Well, and having said that, we've eyeballed it, but obviously the city's got to, approve where exactly they're going to go and how
Sure.
it's going to, we don't know what's underground. We haven't done the 811?
Yep.
Iowa.
Any of that, yeah.
Yeah.
So that all has to be looked after.
Yeah.
sure.
So I having been the person that was not in favor of spending trail money on art, not against art, as I spoke with Marie, she knows that. I'm very pleased with the effort that was put in and the resulting pieces that you have brought forth. I can live with using trail money for this, and there's several reasons. One is I think it's got a nice theme through it. While I know that our intent is to bring, additional interesting pieces, but for our first go at it, to be able to have 3 pieces that feature people doing, artistic things, movement and exercise, I think is wonderful. It fits the trail. You beat me in the head into submission, which I appreciate. So for that reason, I am very supportive of this. When we're ready to connect to the interurban trail out by Irish Lane, we'll figure that out. But this is wonderful. So thank you for the work you've done.
And I would echo what Paul had said. I also like the idea of the placement and the fact that the 3 from Gale are 7 foot tall to be, they're going to be eye-catching edges down Main Street. So I like starting from there and bringing people into it. So yeah, I think that can work really well.
And, well, I see that you have pictures, so you know how colorful they are as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be, like that.
And I would just add that, well done, almost 40% of this project's being paid by private funds. And so that makes it a lot easier to, get approval of this.
Just a quick question. One small minor concern that I was worried about, but, so you're talking, if I understood correctly, you're west of Solder and Petrick Trail on the south side of First, is that right?
It could be west or east. We looked at, and there's room on both sides.
Well, and I think there's adequate green space on both sides of the trail on the west side.
Mm-hmm.
I was more worried about, say, snow removal, if it's back far enough that we don't have to worry about
Yeah.
any damage.
These will not be in the way of a snow removal.
Okay.
They have to set back some distance from the sidewalk, otherwise it looks classless.
Sure.
You know.
Yep.
So,
Just-
one of the things too, in choosing this, the sculptors, we have a contract that Marie drafted. You drafted it, right? Yeah. To
Me and
bring-
the internet.
to bring the sculptors to the community so we can have an official dedication celebration. And in the long run, if this can keep growing, this is another tourist draw for Mount Vernon as an acclaimed arts community, to bring people here to buy, to restaurant, dine, and all the things that make for a good community. So anyway, Any other questions at all?
Is there ever an intent to light these fixtures?
At the moment, no. That's a budget issue that would require some running of lines underground. And we talked about lighting them with solar, but that's more easy for theft. So that's a longer range question. For right now, no.
Okay.
I think that's the right approach. Technology's moving, and we have opportunity to perhaps do some things in the future that we don't today.
Yeah. And then in the long run, as Marie mentioned, the sculptures can be moved, and it may be what you see now may not be what you see in 2 years. But it will keep growing if we get new pieces, if we can gather funding for additional commissions and purchases. But right now, it's a good start.
Okay. We have to fight for space there with the library for the book.
Well, we can fit it all.
Pieces that are on that same trail.
It's a long trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's long.
Well, I would move approval with the city moving forward with the recommendations for the two pieces by the Mount Vernon Area Arts Council and Parks and Recreation, with city staff providing support to do the cement work.
I have a second.
Move seconded by Paul.
Looks like there's maybe another comment.
Move forward.
Am I wrong?
Oh, we're just, so we're drawing up an agreement with the artisan, and I think MVAC is the fiscal agent, and so we'll write the checks, but somebody from the city probably should sign, since it's a partnership, and it's in partnership with Parks and Rec, so would that be the,
Probably the city administrator.
probably
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Is that who we're doing?
Yep.
Okay. Or Lori, and is that?
I was gonna say, very quickly, no, that's Chris. That's
Well,
Usually it's Chris down here, I'm happy to sign it, but.
And can you write checks?
right.
Exactly. Oh,
I would imagine.
Marcia's your girl.
The motion on the floor to move forward with the art pieces or the first pieces for the sculpture art trail. And congratulations, we have 13 to pick from. That was pretty good. Any other questions about this? Ready to vote for that motion? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for supporting.
Again, this is some well done, right? Reports to be received and filed. Police department?
Nothing beyond what's in the written report unless you have questions.
Any questions or comments about the Chief Shannon?
I'm just curious, are these parked cars got magnets on them that are drawing other cars into them?
We had a little run there for a while.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I asked the same question, like, what is up with this?
Yeah. Okay.
And I chalked it up to like, well, it's, summer and we're just getting things rolling.
Yeah, new drivers.
Yeah. So,
Public Works report? Mr. Montgomery? Zip, comment?
I'm Dr. Mike Montgomery, I'm retired. I live at 822 10th Avenue Southwest. If you don't know that, that's right next to the funeral home. So close. I have 3 points of interest that I think would best be addressed if I asked the question. Okay? Question number 1 would be to the maintenance guys over there.
Mr. Downs?
Every morning from section 5:30 till about 8 o'clock, I barely have enough water pressure to take a shower. Do we have a pipe wrong side or a pump side different or something? Are we giving all the new guys the water or whatnot? But I mean, honest to God, I can't take a shower for almost an hour. And I really can't get a cup of coffee, that pisses me off.
That'd be a better,
I don't know what happened, it's been going on for, 7 or 8 months.
that'd be a better question for Alex. He's our water wastewater
They
superintendent.
keep asking me what's wrong, so like I can do something about it, but I can't. I just address it in the form of a question. Is there something going on? Did we miss something or what?
I'm not aware of anything in that area that was,
Alex has cards upstairs if you need to get in touch with him directly. He's not at this meeting, obviously.
Yeah. The other part is, was Palisades Road on the agenda for being taken care of this year, or are we just gonna do it for the new families out there?
From 10th West was, yeah, it's been on for 2 or 3 years, to be
Yes.
honest with you. So we got it done in June on a 3-week period. It went very well, LFLing.
Yes,
Yes.
And the
yes.
last question, is there something that we can do for the traffic on that road? I had time to sit and watch this, there were 61 trucks right up that 10th Avenue on any given day while they're doing the work. That's semis, cement trucks, everything else. I mean, that has to add wear and tear or something that's going on there. Plus, if you've ever been there in the morning when our little darlings are going to school, you know, from about 20 minutes to 8 till 5 after 8, I can't get out of the driveway.
Well, that's one reason
But, you know, it is concerned that, well, if something happens, I mean, how, you know, I'd have to fly out to the street to get to somebody or something. Hell, I can't even walk now because I had to give half my foot because Agent Orange.
there's a reason why it started at the beginning of 10th going west, because we knew there was going to be heavy construction traffic, just like during the construction of the LBC. You know, we didn't do any street maintenance on Palisades 10th East because we knew they were bringing in the precast for the LBC. But I think the last matter.
With our mind-all catch-all new football program, stadium, it's not going to get any better.
It's going to be done in about 6 weeks as far as the truck traffic. Yeah. So to address that issue, the truck traffic will be done as soon as the construction is done. And an email went out just recently about that. Yeah,
Today.
real recently. But eventually there will be a second access point to the north part of the high school. So there'll be, that's not going to make it this fall for football games. But so a second designated.
I mean, you can see it too, where you live. I mean, you
Yeah.
get you some of that
Yeah,
traffic.
it's
I mean, it's just like a big T.
right. I mean,
So you can
it's.
see both directions.
I'm sure Doug knows. Right, for 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening. It's,
10?
or,
Where you live?
I don't know, Palisades Road, about 6,000 feet. Yeah.
These are just some areas of concern. They keep asking me like I can do something about it, so I said, I'll come and ask the people they're supposed to know.
Okay.
So you know, hear what I hear, and hopefully we can do something about it. If I can help, I will. Yeah, but
On the first one, I know Alex has cards upstairs. If you want to grab one, catch up with him. All right.
thank you.
Thank you. Anything else on Public Works, Eldon? I made the mistake of challenging him that he didn't send any pictures in the first part, and he made up for
Made it
it.
up for it. Well, we like the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Scheckinger with V&K provided the last two, those aerial shots of the Public Works buildings being almost completed.
Looking good.
Stuff like
Mr. Snyder, you're not here to talk about Parks and Rec?
I wanted to thank, I did have one just quick thing, I apologize. The triangle at 5th and 7th. what
I
was
just
that?
had a call on that.
Yeah.
6th and 5th.
Yes, thank
Yes.
you. Very excited that there's some beautification happening there, so.
Me too.
Just, yeah, that, right, so, yeah, you'll be able to see it. So, yeah, just, that was it. Just
The yield
excited.
sign is going back in.
There was a small concern about a yield sign that was
I
put
got a
out
call, the
that
yield sign.
has been
It's
replaced.
going back in. All right.
But I can assure you Jane has a footprint of how everything's gonna lay.
I figured that she might be in charge of that project, so, excellent, thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, Scott.
Parks and Rec report. I know, Bob, you're on Parks and Rec, but the biggest thing was probably pool recommendation from the pool committee to Parks and Rec for your consideration. And it's on your agenda now? Or has it come?
We've come to a vote.
You come to a vote, okay, so it'll be on our agenda soon.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll look for that really soon, I think. And what I've heard about it is very positive.
And the other part is we are updating the master plan, and all of the members have given input, and we'll be presenting the new master plan sometime this fall. Okay?
Thank you.
Aggressive as always there, Parks and Rec. MVAC progress report. for extensive listing from Mrs. Freeze. Any questions of hers? Going to Mayor's report, meeting with, Chris and I are meeting with the developer this Thursday on a possible project. Also working with Cornell, with Alice on sustainability options. She's doing some legwork for me and hopefully there are some good consequences to the community and to the city here. So some things are being worked on in that area of sustainability. And our next meeting is August 3rd or so, Thursdays from now. I think that's about all I have as far as the mayor's report. Any council reports to talk about? Committee reports?
Nope.
City administrator's report?
So we have a goal-setting session with Elizabeth Hansen on August 17th. That survey, or that questionnaire, if you have not completed it, please complete it by tonight. Chris will be attending the ECOG Board of Directors meeting on July 27th. City representatives will attend the luncheon with staff in Cornell in the Mount Vernon Community School District on July 31st. We are purchasing 3 aluminum benches for Elliott Park, not to exceed it's 8,000, so we're gonna purchase 3 of them currently because they're 2,000 a piece. So we have about 6,000 for the first 3, and then we'll approve the last one, or buy the last one at like a little at a future date. It's basically safety concerns. Structurally, they're just not sound, the maintenance on them. Ellen, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that, but.
Well, so typically in the summertime, we get the summer kids and they paint the bleachers and that sort of thing. The structure themselves at the boards, we're trying to make things a little bit maintenance-free. Not that we don't have to have those to be painted every year if we can prevent that. But longevity is what we're looking for. So we looked into pricing out like composite board. Instead of painting them, we're gonna have to paint those. They wouldn't rot out and have to replace those. They would look nicer. But it was, I want to say it was like $1,800 per bleacher set that we have currently. And then we would be putting those on metal structures that were not necessarily safe anyway. So we looked into the price of some new bleachers, and they're a little bit different. Structure-wise, they're 3 rows high, but they're 15 foot long, opposed to 5 high and 8 foot long. And they're aluminum, the ones we're looking at purchasing. So they'll be lighter, a lot less maintenance
Easier to
free.
move.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that was kind of the idea. We could get a whole new set of bleachers for what it would cost to restore janky ones anyway. So.
Now it is.
That works.
It is now. It's published.
Ellen was talking, and 2 things from Lynn County. Craig represented us at a Lynn County Public Health meeting at the LUC a couple Saturdays ago. And while our attendance wasn't real great, Lynn County Public Health did reach out to offer to provide assistive aids during festivals. I'm not sure what those assistive aids are regarding getting around, walking, ramps. I don't know what that is, but they want to offer some to Mount Vernon, probably next festival season, and well, we're going to keep an open eye
Well,
with them.
we have 2 more festivals coming up.
Well, I'm not sure how quickly it'll happen, but we have probably more than 2 coming up. And sustainability had some success in April at cleanup day with rain barrels, and more than sold out rain barrels. Sustainability reached out to me yesterday. Lynn County Sustainability Group reached out with possible more rain barrels. So I may have to get a trailer from you again to load up again in Cedar Rapids. So thank you, Ellen.
Yep.
But there's a couple other things in your report. Anything else that needs to become before this council at this point? If not, then we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Or you could run meetings anytime, 45 minutes, I like it.
Yeah. Chris talks rock and roll.
Absolutely.